One time about 3-4 years ago, my wife and I went to a wedding in Spain. We were very excited. Big shout out to David E. Marta. We were so excited to go to a wedding in Spain, and I kept bigging myself up saying that I could speak a bit of Spanish and I would be okay. Now, during the meal, as they were coming round with drinks and wine, I really made a big show out of when the waitress said, "Would you like some wine?" I went, s'il vous plaît, in front of the whole table of mostly Spanish people. My wife just had a disdained look, and she did a big eye roll and went, "That's French, you idiot." And I think about that moment pretty often, actually, as well. But that's what this podcast is all about. Welcome to the Stop Watering Dead Flowers podcast with me, your host, Chris Forbes. Stop watering dead flowers. I'm delighted to say that our guest this week is the wonderful Rosco McClelland. How
Hello
are you
there.
doing?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. I in my mind, I'm thinking about s'il vous plaît as a very Scottish version of saying silver plate. So that's what I would have been. I was like, no, I was actually asking for a silver plate, please.
If I could have got out of it.
That's how I'd get away with it.
Now, as way of introduction to you, Rosco, you are, amongst many things, actually, partly speaking of languages, a Gaelic speaker here. We actually were just speaking about
Yeah.
your one attempt.
Yeah, I've got 3 words: salad blaster,
Which means
salt salad tasty.
as everyone knows.
Everyone does know when you get a nice, lovely salt salad and you want to let people know it was tasty. You say salad blaster.
I mean, it sounds so joyful in expression.
It's great, yeah. Those words work together. I think that's why my brain picked up on them and jammed them together.
An outwith of your wonderful Gaelic speaking. You're obviously, as well, one of the most top-rated, sought-after stand-ups right now as well. And in fact, most recently, recipient of the Billy Connolly Award at the Glasgow Comedy Festival.
Yes. And the New Zealand one as well.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I won the Best International Act at New Zealand. So I'm racking them up this year.
My day, you need another shelf.
Yeah, I don't even feel like I'm doing particularly well.
Was it?
I think I'm in a downturn here.
Is it kind of like, in football, some trophies or in certain sports, like some of the trophies are pretty good, some of them aren't. Like, do you get a good one for the New Zealand thing? Do you get a good? Because the Billy Connolly one's pretty cool. It's got the wee beard
it's
and
like a
glasses.
glass. The issue with the trophy for that is like it's a fully glass kind of plinth, call it what you want. So it's hard to show people because when you lift it up, it's see-through. So
look at my window.
Yeah, it's basically it's like I'm holding nothing, or if I hold it in front of a t-shirt, it looks like I've just got a small, a tiny wee self-portrait of Billy Connolly on my t-shirt. I'm like, that's insane.
What was New Zealand rocking?
Well, the New Zealand, I didn't even get it. I didn't even see it. I was in a different part of New Zealand when it was announced, and it was literally just a laminated bit of paper.
That's nice. Keep it classy.
Yeah. So I never saw that, and I was like, it's just nice to know that all your the fact that you've travelled to the other side of the world is, they care about it. They gave me tons of mayonnaise though. The festival was sponsored by mayonnaise. I had mayonnaise coming out the wazoo, man.
Do you know, I just thought that was a random video when I saw that. So that this is starting to make a lot of sense. If people don't follow Rosco on social media, I remember seeing that and you were just talking about mayonnaise and you had this big bottle of mayonnaise and I was like, oh, look at Rosco with this crazy little random videos.
I realised I should have put some context behind that because not everyone was in the sphere that I was in right there. They had so much mayonnaise, man.
Do you like mayonnaise?
Well, I had to find out how it was made. I do like it. It's like egg yolks, which surprises me because
not the white at all.
No, I figured it would be egg whites because it was white, but it's not. It's the yolks.
Oh,
something new into it.
This is certainly something to think about. Perhaps a whole new podcast.
Yes.
Well, I'm delighted for you. Things are going very well in the stand-up sphere, certainly. In your personal life, let's move away from that a little bit. How are you with stuff like this that we're going to be speaking about? Generally, if things happen that you regret or are embarrassed by, are you quite good at moving on from them, or do you let them haunt you?
I don't tend to get embarrassed a lot. It's hard. I let embarrassment go a long time ago when I realised it wasn't a good thing to hold on to. But there's some that stick in the mind, Chris, I'll tell you that.
Thank
there's
God.
some that stick right in there.
The format of this podcast thanks you.
Yeah. There's one from my early, and sometimes I wonder, I'm like, did I just dream this? But then I'm like, no, it must have been real.
This is going to be good. If it's conceivable that you even just fantasize this, but it's actually happened.
It was in like primary school,
nice.
Right? And I remember they wouldn't let. To be fair, this is more. I feel like this isn't my fault, right? I think the adults, the teachers, as you call them, had said that we couldn't go inside and use the toilet during the breaks, during like being outside or something like that, right? Or I think what had happened is it was time for.
Kind of sounds like you were in prison rather than school.
Yeah, High Blantyre Primary School, prison for children. But I was. So I think it was maybe like just about the end of break time, and maybe I didn't have time to go all the way around the other side of the school to go to the toilet or something like that, and I was like, I really need to pee. And then my friend at the time, Kyle Snedden, was like, hey, you can pee in the corner of the building there, in between like this kind of jutting in bit of the building.
He authorised this.
He was like, you can pee in there and I'll watch your back. And I was like, alright, cool. So then I started peeing on the building, and then once I'd started peeing, I realised that he wasn't watching my back. He was actually gathering other people to come round and go, ha ha, Ross is peeing on the building, ha ha, look at him peeing on the building. And I was like, but now I'm so embarrassed and I can't stop because I'm peeing. And then the teacher came out and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I had to pee. And she was just like, I honestly can't believe this. And then I had to spend the rest of the day in class with my head on the desk.
That was like a punishment.
That was the punishment, yeah. She was just like, why would you pee on it? And I was like, I needed to. So I just had to spend the rest of the day with my head on the desk, just looking at the desk.
There's so many troubling aspects of this story. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, you've got your friend as a Judas here that's turned you in. The fact that you got a crowd of people watching you pee, which is impressive in its own right. I've got a shy bladder, so if anything, that you were able to maintain a good stream there.
This is why I do what I do now. You know, it turns out the crowd, I was like, oh, this is what I'm built for.
If anything, even though it's not the key part of the story, I'm so perturbed by the fact that a teacher made you put your head on the desk. I just don't remember that being a thing that children were made to do.
Well, that is.
Are we like forehead on, cheek? Is it
forehead on? Yeah.
Just like, wow.
I had to forehead on to the desk since after, I think it was after lunch.
Is this a thing? I'm looking at Sean now again. Did you ever have to do that at school? This is wow. How long are we talking?
For the rest of the day. So after lunchtime till school was out, I had to head on the desk.
Like a primary school version of like solitary confinement.
Yeah.
You're just like in the stocks.
I remember it being a red desk.
Oh, red head at the end of it as well.
Yeah.
Gee, honestly, I'm really perturbed by that. But let's go back to what started this, the peeing.
Yeah.
You know, because it already seems quite strict that you weren't allowed to go in and pee it. But your friend, are you still friends with this guy that said, pee here, I'll watch your back?
No. And I don't even think he would listen to this. He's not into this. He's into like scaffolding and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's his vibe. I also just remind myself another time I actually just pissed myself standing talking to someone. Oh, it was really bad, man. It was. So I was. It was like primary school again, right? And I was
Well, it's a traumatic school/prison to go to.
And I used to walk up. We used to walk up from school up the road with me and my friends, and we would sort of they'd be on the way, and I'd be the last house there. But all the houses were very close to each other, so I'd walk around the back of their houses with them, and then me and my mate Shanksy, who's been named in my show before, we were talking, right, and I really needed to piss, right, and I could have just said, I need to go, I need to piss, but he kept talking, and he kept talking about something, and I was just like, I'm not going to say it because this conversation will be over in a minute, and I'll just run to my house and piss, and then I was kind of shuggling my leg around while he was talking. And then at one point I realised, I was like, oh my God, I don't have any time. And I just pissed. A bit of piss came out. And then another bit of piss came out. And then I was like, well, this has already went down your leg. And I'm like, well, just full on piss then. So I just stood there talking to him, pissing down my leg, into my shoe. And what I didn't realise at the time, that I could throw these shoes out.
Oh, no.
Or I only had one pair of school shoes at the time, and they were soaking wet. So I just went home and I was like, well, this shoe's wet. I'm going to have to put it on the radiator to dry. I put it on the radiator in the kitchen, and the kitchen was stinking of piss by 7 o'clock. Why you make me dredge these memories up, Chris?
I didn't know it was going to go this way. There's part of me that hopes that all your stories are just piss related now.
Everything I do is piss related.
It's just another. I remember another time I pissed myself. I didn't have time.
Has there been other times I have pissed myself?
Did that get the guy to stop, or did you just have to keep listening? Did he notice? Was he even aware of that?
No, he wasn't aware. No, because I was wearing black school trousers, so it's not like there was a big wet. But I just pissed and he just talked. Put that in my gravestone.
He just pissed in it. Oh. You're a good listener, though. I think I take away a positive from a story.
Yeah.
You're a good listener.
Yeah. Terrible bladder control, though.
Someone must have rumbled that in your home then, what's that smell? Or, Roscoe, was that your shoe?
But my mum must have been because as soon as that shoe dried, I was just right, I'll put it back on. Next day, I'm walking about, I'm like, that smells like fucking piss, man. I'm in here stinking the piss. So I'm going to have to just wear my trainers or something like that.
It's tragic but hilarious,
and
admirable though that you seem to just have a kind of devil,
yeah,
that's incredible. Was it ever brought up again by anyone?
No, nobody ever knew. One time I burped up a quarter of a donut, and that was quite embarrassing.
Was it in mid-conversation?
No, nobody else even knew. It just went into my mouth. So I just chewed it and swallowed it again.
Kind of sounds like that's what you should have done the first time.
Yeah.
Chewed it, swallowed it.
To my mind, I was like, no way. Did a huge bit of donut just come back up me with a burp? And I was like, that's free donut, technically. I got a donut and a quarter for Greg's that day.
Wow. It's kind of veering more into embarrassing bodies style podcast.
Yeah. I've got plenty of other embarrassing inside mind moments.
The good thing, even so far early on with these stories, is I feel like for anybody else, these would be properly traumatic and haunting and shameful almost. But you have really embraced them, and as you said, you're not someone that gets embarrassed now.
Yeah.
So you're able to just let them out there.
I think as well, especially with piss, as a former plumber, I'm like, piss is nothing to me.
Seen it all.
Yeah.
Piss is nothing to me.
I think, you know how sometimes businessmen will pay for a beautiful lady to take a shite on a glass table above them?
Yeah.
I reckon as soon as if I was under a glass table and someone took a hefty shite onto it, on the moment of impact, I don't even think I would flinch.
Wow.
I don't even think I would blink. I'd be like, what's new?
I wouldn't even blink. Hope I had bits.
I'd stare those bits straight in the eye. I go, you think this is the worst thing that's happened to me?
We're only 10 minutes in, but I've already learned so much more about you as a person. Do you know, bizarrely, this is, I mean, it doesn't have any real connection, but I remember a really early, like, kind of high school type joke doing the rounds that kind of combines the two things you were just talking about there. And so it was in my head about, do you remember this? It was about two rats. It was really about two rats down in the sewers. And one rat goes over to his rat mate who's looking really depressed. And he's like, what's going on, mate? And he's like, oh, look, I feel like shit. My life's shit. I'm surrounded by shit. Everything's just shit. And his rat mate goes, oh, come on. Let's go for a night in the piss.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I love that.
So yes, let's use that to perfectly round out this piss shit chapter of your childhood.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing them. I feel like I keep saying that when people do their childhood regrettable kind of mad moments, they're almost more forgivable or easier to let go because you were a kid, you didn't really know any better. And then when you get older, some of the stories that be a bit more impactful, you know, the kind of ramifications. So like if we go for one maybe in your career next, we can see what the fallout was.
Oh, I'll never forget the Greenock Juniors Award dinner from last year as well.
Oh, this is recent.
Oh, it was it was really bad.
Oh.
Where
was it? Down in Greenock?
Down in Greenock in the town hall. Oh. And what had happened was, well, initially it was an old friend of my sister's who'd contacted me about it. It said she wanted to give me £500 to do 20 minutes at the Great. And my brain, the alarm bells went off, and I went, no, this sounds really bad. So what I'll do is I'll just ignore it.
Okay.
I just ignored it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, they didn't take the hint, and they contacted my agents.
Oh no!
And my agents came through and they were like, "It's £500," and well, they were doing some like cool stuff for me last year during the Fringe, so I wanted to play ball.
Yeah.
So I agreed to do it, and I drove down there and I put on a nice wee brown tweed suit, and I got there and there was so many children. Many children, and it was like banquet seating, so they were all on like big round tables. So half of the audience aren't facing me, and then they were like, "Do you want to use the microphone or the lectern?" And I was like, "This is going to go so bad."
That's not what any comic wants to hear.
I was like, the microphone. Like, right, okay. And then a guy comes out and goes, right, everyone, quieten down. Oh. We've got a comedian who's here to be funny, Rosco McClelland. And I went up like, hey, 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 hey. Oh, you the goalkeeper, aye? Oh, good for you. Same pair of hands. 20 minutes. Oh. Dying on my arse.
Oh.
They hated it. My parting words were, I just want you all to know that going forward, this won't affect me.
What was the average age? Like?
Oh, well, they had teams from like the under 14s up to the Greenock Juniors men's team. It was terrible. As soon as I left the stage, I went and grabbed something from the back and walked out through a separate exit, and I heard a guy go up and go, "What the hell was that?" And the microphone, like, I've heard better patter than that in the dressing rooms. Anyway, and I was just like, I fucking hate Greenock Juniors, man. But the worst part was, right, next day, I'm at a football match, a cup final in Hampden.
Nice.
Big game. I'm a Rangers supporter. Not proud to admit it, but fine to admit it. And it was a one where Celtic won 1-0. Adam Ida, like last couple of minutes or something like that, and I was thinking, fuck, what a bad weekend for Roscoe this is, eh? And then on the way out of that game, I hear a guy go, mate!
Oh no.
And I was like, this sounds like it's for me. How does that... And I turned around, a guy going, mate, are you that comedian that was on last night? And I'm like, why? Why? He's like, let me get a picture to show my wife. And I was like, no, you just want a picture to laugh at me. You just want to laugh at me. You would say it to your wife and go, oh, look, I know the game was shite, but I met that fucking idiot that died in his hole last night. And I was like, take a fucking picture then. My father-in-law's with me. He doesn't exactly know how things are going, but he sees this and he's like, oh, this guy, oh, my son-in-law's so shite that a guy wants to get a picture taken with him.
Surely he must have thought, oh, he's getting a photo because this guy's a fan.
No, I told him about how shite the gig was. He walked away. He was like, I don't want to be seen with this.
Oh,
it was terrible.
Honest.
I was like, I guess I'm just going to kill myself then, will I? If I'm such a big fucking dafty idiot.
You were too honest. You were honest to a fault with your father-in-law as well.
Yeah.
That's a tough weekend. All football related as well.
Yeah.
I mean, those types of football gigs are awful. Like, for anyone that doesn't know, every comedian doesn't really like being asked to do them, but we often concede to doing it because they offer you a bit of money.
Yeah.
But I've never really had to do one, I don't think, when it's been a juniors, so you've got kids there as well.
Yeah, it was terrible, man.
Kids.
It was really bad. I asked them, I was like, listen, they told me there was kids here and stuff, so I've had to kind of clean it up a wee bit, but are you alright if I go like a bit? And some people were like, yeah, and everyone went, nah.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh,
there goes the pissing myself story. Wow, I'm sorry that's happened. That does sound like a sore one.
Yeah. I'll never go to Greenock again. Fuck them.
The fact that someone recognised you, ran into you so soon, because one of the only saving graces of doing usually awful corporate type gigs is you try and remind yourself that you're never going to see these people again. It's not going to affect you. But if someone catches you, it's just, you know, it was bad.
Yeah, it's like I was already double down, and then this guy just came and made me triple down, triple sad. I was like, oh, fuck off.
I'm trying to think of one in particular. I mean, there's we've all got, I think, a lot of these types of stories, unfortunately. But I had quite a recent one as well, because it was at the start of this year, and it really rattled me for a couple of months, and I still keep thinking about it. But I feel like I'll never go back to Kilwinning again. I had a really, really bad gig in Kilwinning. It was a corporate affair, and even the host made a joke about me before I could even leave the hall. And so now I always look to see who's hosting events, because I'm like, I never want to see this guy ever again. Yeah. It's so bad.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's Kilwinning, isn't it? You know, nothing good ever happens in Kilwinning. That's what I say.
Where are you from, Roscoe?
Not Kilwinning. That's I'm actually from Blantyre. Blantyre. Right. Hi, Blantyre. Predy Glasgow, on a cost. That's French. Learned that.
Home of forehead on desks, primary schools. Blantyre.
I think it was Mrs. Davis that made me do that. And then she had two older boys, and what they used to do, they used to play a game with us younger boys, and they would do you remember like a leg and a wing?
No.
They would, so someone would grab someone's legs and someone else would grab someone's arms, and you'd hold them up and you go, a leg and a wing to see the king, a one, boom boom, a two, boom boom, and a three right up in the air, and they would throw us into a wall. And we would line up to do this like it was a laugh.
An investigation must be done on this school. It's unreal.
Well, I was I guess a rough and tumble child, so I'm fine with it. I was telling an English comedian who was out there, who's very posh and very well to do, out in New Zealand. We were talking about stuff, and I think he was talking about rugby and things like that. And I was like, well, what I would do, and I was like, and you'll think of me as a brute for saying this, but when I was younger, as a centre back, I realised that I was kind of scared heading the ball, and it kind of hurt. So what I started doing was I went outside the back of my mum's house and started headbutting the wall.
Wow.
To toughen my head up. It worked.
I tell you what, it's explained an awful lot though. In terms of the beginning of
this is why he stands and pisses himself in front of people.
That's hardcore, man. That's like something out of like a Van Damme or Karate Kid film, like, you know, like they're forcing themselves to.
I just wonder if any of the neighbours saw me, because we had like houses that overlap. Imagine just seeing, and it wasn't like a flat wall, it was like rough cast.
Oh.
So I'm out there just headbutting rough cast wall like day after day.
But, tell you what, I mean, people still talk about the legendary bullet headers that you could put off.
My God. Well, the thing is, I wasn't great at aiming a header, but I wasn't scared to put my head in there anymore after that.
I bet.
No.
Something for Steve Clark to think about.
Yeah. yeah, I'm also old and past it, so why not get me in? Me and Kenny McLean keeping fucking Lewis Ferguson out of the team and stuff like that. Let's do it.
Wow. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's maybe look now at one of these moments. I want to keep using the term now, brainworms, that someone told me last week. These little brainworms, things that have happened that you just can't get out of your head. What's one maybe from a relationship that you've been in? And I got to tell you, I actually already feel horrified about whatever it is you're going to say, if that's what's happened in those two other domains.
This one isn't even actually that bad. It's a personal horror that I can't get away from. Not my first girlfriend. My first girlfriend was a girl that I used to a goth girl I used to finger outside the Gallery of Modern Art. Where are you, Ailey? I'll never forget you. On the steps at Barders, touching piss. This is a girlfriend after that. Also a goth girl, very goth adjacent myself. I consider myself more to be a punk, but I appreciate their style and culture and OnlyFans and all above. But she was really into Korn, you know. Korn,
Yep.
Go. She was
that guy.
Go. She was really into. I just love the way he shouts that. It's such a clip to go. Go. Down, 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 down. Great song. And she was really into Korn, and she loved Jonathan Davis, right? And as a young boy, I didn't realise that he was not attainable to her, because that would have made Jonathan Davis a pedophile.
Yep.
No, I'm saying he's not. It could be, but he wasn't, hunting the streets of Rutherglen for 15-year-old goth girls at the time. He was busy. And probably on the Family Values tour of Limp Bizkit, or that may have been pre that. Anyway, I digress. She loved Jonathan Davis, and he had like three his distinctive thing was he had three eyebrow piercings, little eyebrow ring piercings, yeah. And one day, and I'd spotted this, right? And one day, I didn't get him. I said to her, I was like, do you know what? I'm thinking about getting like an eyebrow piercing, but not like one, like three. And she's like, oh, like Jonathan Davis? And I was like, what? She's like, oh, he's got them. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Never thought about that. But I did know that. I was just trying to be more like him, because she fancied him.
Oh, man. Did you ever get them?
No.
Once you were rumbled, you were like...
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was stupid, wasn't it? Or the one time she dyed my hair blue and it went green really quickly, like the day after, and I was like, oh, she's done me here.
You thought she did it on purpose? Or?
No, but accidentally she's done me. I was like, oh, she's clear, she's not done that right, has she?
Dear.
You know,
it sounded like the relationship was doomed.
Yeah. I was supposed to be going to see The Offspring at Gig in the Green. Dexter Holland had blue hair.
Okay.
The singer of The Offspring. And then here's me turning up with green hair. And he'd have been like, oh, I don't have anything in common with that wee guy.
Oh no. And then even for your Rangers Celtic thing,
that too, yeah.
So that was how long did the relationship last, do you think, after that whole incident of
do you know what? I'll tell you something interesting. After that gig in the Green, an 18-year-old guy tried to kiss me as a 14-year-old boy, and then he killed himself.
Is
that too much for the podcast?
Not at all. But the amount of sharp handbrake turns that there's been in this episode, I love it. But please explain more about that.
Oh, I won't give his name because I don't know if his family know him as a dead pedo. But after a gig at the Green, I was going to get the train home, and he'd been sort of like hanging around, and like with like back in the day, where like the goth and alt scene, like older people would just hang about with younger people. No one thought it was weird,
just for more numbers.
Just for numbers, yeah. And then he tried to kiss me in Glasgow Central. I was like, what are you doing, man?
Wow.
Fuck off. And then he ran away crying, and I was like, what a baby. And then not long after that, killed himself. And the band I was in was like, we're playing his memorial gig, and I was like, what? I don't really want to do that.
I take it you didn't play it?
No, I did, but I was just like, kill shot, one in the chamber. Roscoe takes one down.
Oh my day! You didn't know the guy at all, or a little bit?
Only a little bit, yeah.
So there's a good chance it was in direct correlation. His final decision was that he'd been spurned.
I'm thinking so, yeah. I mean, if you can't even fuck a child, what hope have you got? If you're a pedo who can't get that done, the easiest of prey, so they say.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm the real hero here, you know.
Yeah.
I managed to get one off the streets.
Have you still the goth kind of punk thing as well? You know, a lot of those bands have had kind of resurgences or gone on tours again recently.
It's basically the ones that weren't cancelled. It's the best bands from 30 years ago that aren't cancelled are now on the Warp Tour.
Do you keep in touch with either of the two girls that featured in these embarrassing stories?
I
kind of feel like we really should have explored the being fingered on the steps of the Gallery of the Modern Art girl. I feel kind of bad for her now that she was dropped down in such a poetically kind of horrendous way and then moved on.
I have no idea who that person is or what they're up to now. Do you know what I mean? It was a very brief fling as like 14-year-olds and stuff like maybe even younger than that. Maybe we were like 13 or something. I don't know. AOL Messenger was still around because that's how we contacted each other.
ASL and all that.
Yeah. ASLG. That's for goth at the end. I'm adding that in. The other one, I still know her. Yeah, I still know her. Sorta see each other every now and again. And go, oh, hi, how you doing? Stuff like that. So no.
But you said I just pictured her like you see her years later, and she's married a guy that's got 3 piercings in his eyebrow.
Do you know what? The guy she's married to looks a lot like Jonathan Davis, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does that. He only speaks in scat noises.
These are all brilliant stories. I feel like we could speak to you all day and you just keep reminding yourself of horrendous moments. But have you got any others that you would desperately want to just get off your chest. This whole thing's about trying to not water these dead flowers, but pleasantly it seems like they don't bother you at all.
Yeah,
you just seem to have lots of good ones.
Yeah, they're just in there going, oh, interesting. Do I have any others? None that have sprang to mind right now.
You've given us.
Recently, when I got on a plane, the cabin crew, one of the cabin crew said welcome, and I went, oh, welcome. I said welcome back to her, and I was like, oh. So I thought about that for a good 7 hours.
Do you know what? I think that's a good one to end on, because it's like a really nice, wholesome one, comparatively to all the other ones. That was just one of these horrible little brain fart moments.
Yeah.
Welcome, and you said,
oh, welcome. I was like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. She said that. She'll be thinking you're a fucking idiot now.
Well, let's pretend for a moment that some of the other stories you've told us have bothered you. Is there one in particular that you would want to get rid of the most? We try and symbolically then pretend we're going to take that dead flower and fling it in the bin. Which is the one that you think you'd be like, oh, I actually do wish that one didn't happen?
Keep dead pedo. Keep Greenock Juniors. Fuck them. They can get it as well. Take away the dead pissing, because I feel it was unfair of that teacher to make me put my head on the desk.
Honestly, that's
on them.
That's been the biggest revelation. I really want to find out what happened to that teacher, and if it was a common practice. If anyone is listening to this and you had to do stuff like that at your school for like punishment, please let us know. I feel like we're going to get an episode of Dispatches out of this.
Well, like fucking piss patches, eh? With me pissing myself.
Oh my days. Rosco McClelland, it's been an absolute delight and revolutionary kind of feast for us. So thank you very much for being on. Where can people catch you and find you? Have you got stuff coming up? I'm assuming Fringe is on the horizon.
Yeah, Fringe is coming up, so looking forward to that. Really need to start writing it, if I'm being honest. It's halfway through June as we talk. I don't know when this is going out.
This should go out just before Fringe, actually. So.
Oh well, I've written it, and it's really good. So the Fringe, and then I literally have no idea what else I'm doing after. I'm going to October. I'm going to Vegas in October, not for gigs. Just I'm going to see the Wembley Young Fest. I'm going to take edibles and watch Avril Lavigne, The Desert. Do you remember when she had that song that they used on Sports Scene? It was an Avril Lavigne song they used on Sports Scene. A montage of people pinging long balls to Kenny Miller, set to an Avril Lavigne B-side. Fucking great.
Did you ever listen to that? I'm sure another comic did a podcast about the rumours that she's dead and it's been a lookalike of Avril Lavigne the whole time in the last 20 years.
They say this, but I can tell it's the same Avril Lavigne. She's got the same vibe, do you know what I mean? The same Avril Lavigne that made me go, oh my God, I'm a skater boy too.
Rosco McClelland, thank you very much. Best of luck with the upcoming Fringe.
Thank you.
You've been listening to another episode of Stop Watering Dead Flowers with me, your host, Chris Forbes. A big thank you, as always, to the Stand Comedy Club, who I get to make this wonderfully in association with. Sean Stables, sound and video man, and Chris Thorburn, our wonderful editor. Thank you. See you again. You've been listening to the Stop Watering Dead Flowers podcast with me, your host Chris Forbes, in association with the wonderful Stan Comedy Club. Sound mixing and recording by the wonderful Sean Stables. Big shout out, Sean. Woo! Edited by the ever awesome Chris Thorburn. Thank you very much to everyone who's listened. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share with a friend, all the things that you're supposed to do with podcasts. Thank you.